Good evening, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I know you've had an awesome week. We got a great interview for you tonight. Really excited about this. I think it's going to speak to a lot of people on this team now and in the future, people that will be joining us. Got a couple of things I want to cover with you real quick before we get into the interview with Mr. Francis. You guys just continue to crush it. Doing an awesome job. If this is your first time on here, we meet here every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. Right after we're done, the corporate team has a call. You can scan this QR code on your phone right now. I'll give you a second to do that if you haven't already, and that'll pop right up on your phone. No matter where you are, so you don't miss it. They start at 9 o'clock right after we're finished here. I want to ask you guys to please remember team member Scott Shuck in your thoughts and prayers. He went to the hospital earlier this week with severe chest pains. I haven't gotten an update. Dave Trilogy, if you're on here, and I'm sure you are, if you could leave an update on the Facebook page, that would be great. But please remember Scott in your thoughts and prayers. If you have not yet went to cmgcollectdirectteam.com, what I really want to say is, who the heck is your upline who sponsored you? It's really what I want to say. I won't say that. I'll just say, go there, get signed up, start through the training. That's where we're going to be adding a lot of stuff real quick for people that are plugged in, for plugged in people. So there's the website. That's where the training is. Set up a username and password of your choice. You get to choose it. So we don't know what it is. So hang on to it. I want to say congratulations to those of you that are using this. I sat down last night and watched the World Series. National League finally won one, which is great. But I created 1,700 clicks on 10 different sites, which means I'm going to have a ton of traffic coming to my page, my life-altering click page. And it made me smile because as I was going through this, you can see Gwen Nolan, who's on our team. This is actually her page. And I saw several of you guys are implementing this. Again, the training's in the back office, but I saw Gwen and I saw Dan Zymans as well, that I took a picture of real quick, and I thought that was awesome. If you don't know about this prospecting method, it's a great way to dual work. You know, I'm going to watch the World Series game regardless, but at least I'm clicking a little bit while I'm watching it and creating eyeballs on my opportunity, have the opportunity to do that. So I just wanted to say congratulations, Dan, and everybody else that I saw. Wanted to let you guys know that there'll be a new video coming this week, probably tonight. It's called I'm Not a Collector. And a lot of you that are out there talking in the market, you're getting people saying, well, I'm not a collector. And you can respond to that. And if you say it, they doubt it. If somebody else says it, or they read it in an article, any type of third party, they believe it. And that's just the truth when it comes to recruiting. When we're talking to somebody, usually it's going in this ear and out that ear is fast. So if somebody says, well, I'm not a collector. See, I had somebody tell me, a former company owner tell me this week, he said, Dale, I'm not a collector, never have been, but I understand the power of a $450 billion market with no competition. He said, I got to check this thing out. So that's what I expect people to say. But some people, for some reason, think if I'm not a collector, that eliminates me. That's like saying a skinny person, like I tell people, and I told people this before, I said, look, I got skinny people that made millions of dollars selling weight loss products. I also had a couple that both weighed over 300 pounds and both made over $250,000. You're not the issue. I'm not the issue. The market is always the issue. That's the issue. So anyway, we're going to have this video for you guys. Be looking for it. I don't know how many of you have seen. They were able to get this video on YouTube today. I made a real simple URL you can all use. This is a great little intro video, especially for warm market. tinyurl.com/collect direct will take you right to it. I think this is something everybody should post tonight on their, I just do. I think it's a real simple little post. This is the next big thing, but this one will be the last, and that should say of your lifetime or whatever. I botched that as I normally do because I'm always in a hurry. This will be the next big thing, but this one will last your lifetime. Inbox me for more information, and then they can click and watch the 3-minute video. That's a real good social media post to put out there like tonight. Be ready when they introduce the full website. They introduce the full website, the $5 gift card. We can start creating customers. Be ready. This is the message. Hey, Aunt Mary, through text, through email, everybody on your social media. Hey, Aunt Mary, has anyone shared Collect Direct with you yet? This is a new website. It just launched, and you can send them the exact same video. And then at the bottom, this link will give you access to the website. Your website link will go right here. That is for your retail site, which we don't have yet. That's the retail site that will have all the products. So that's going to be the play here. As soon as that comes out, boom, get it out there. As soon as the retail site is ready. My mission, if you say, Dale, what's your mission here? This is really my mission. This is one of the most profound, powerful quotes I have seen in the last 5 years. And Bernadette shared this with me, and it touched my heart. And I've used it 1,000 times since she shared it, and I just believe it. And I've never shared it with Collect Direct people, with our team here, I don't think. And it's don't resell the lies you bought. Obliviate them so nobody else gets a hold of them. And unlearn them. Then re-educate yourself and teach what is true. That is powerful. And network marketers have been raked over the coals by self-proclaimed gurus telling them you got to have a blog if you want to be perceived to be a network marketing professional. You must do this, you must do that. And it's been a nightmare for people. And my mission is to help people get off the MLM hamster wheel, find product that can get outside of the network marketing box and create a really significant income. Here's what I know. And I want you all to hear this tonight, especially those of you that have been with me a while, because you've never heard me say this, because this opportunity opportunity for us has never existed. When people get off the hamster wheel, their uplines will follow. Did you all see who Tom sponsored this week? Tom Tarabasso. After his podcast, his former upline. You're going to see more and more people, once they get off the hamster wheel and they say, look, my website from my customer last month made me $2,800. And the upline is going to say, what did you say? And the upline is saying, I don't have anybody on my team making $2,800 from customers. What the heck are you all doing? That's how this is going to play out. Mark my words. I got chills saying it. That's the way this is going to play out. And I talked about this. I wrote about this 20 years ago in 1999. Why network marketers are frustrated, confused, and don't have a clue what they're doing. Because they're being taught by high performance people that know how to go, know how to charge, know how to bob and weave. And you can't teach bobbing and weaving. Bobbing and weaving is not duplicatable. Only systems are. And again, I've been talking about this forever, but guys, I'm seeing things play out, getting ready to play out here that I never thought would. I mean, I'd given up on it, honestly. I've said this multiple times since we've been here. I believe this. This team will become your #1 recruiting tool. Social proof means nothing without documented financial results. And it's like the stories of our team members are all over YouTube, and we're just starting. We're going to overwhelm this entire industry. They're going to think, what the heck are these people doing? So I'm excited about that. This week has been a really good week for me. I've had a few really great conversations with a couple of former network marketing owners and several proven team builders. And honestly, honest, authentic conversations with high performance, what I call 3%ers, has not been common, but I think is going to become more and more common as we move forward. Because sometimes it takes high performance people. I mean, I look at most people in network marketing, they want to see their team do well. They really do. But sometimes it takes 5, 10, 15 years or even longer to realize, yeah, I'm making money, I'm successful, but my team is not progressing at the level that I feel like they should. And maybe I should consider something different. And from the beginning, since we started Collect Direct, an old friend of mine that I've met one time, but we've stayed in contact over the years, Jerry Zink. I've called, some of you've heard me reference Jerry he's like Gordy's twin brother. Those of you that know Gordy, that's how I would describe Jerry, and they look alike. I honestly at one time called Gordy and made sure he wasn't adopted and didn't have a twin that he lost at birth, because I thought they could be twins. I mean, and that's sincere. But anyway, Jerry kept telling me about this guy. He's a 3% leader, Dale. He's a great marketer. And he would always say, but he's a greater human being than he is a marketer. He said, you're going to love this guy. And he kept telling me. And finally on Monday, I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Francis on the phone for the very first time. And it was one of the most inspiring calls I've had with a team member in a long time, because it was proof to me that high performance people like him actually existed, were still out there. And he spent some time in corporate America. He built a traditional business. He's built multiple successful network marketing teams. He's built an incredible Collect Direct team, and I would say with the right people, and is building from a different perspective and a different mindset probably than he ever has. We only had about 20 minutes scheduled on the call for Monday, so I'm excited to learn more about his story. And I think that the mindset he's approaching Collect Direct with, and the focus on developing leaders on his team, will be beyond insightful for people that are with us now and people that have the opportunity to hear this recording 3, 4, 5 years from now. So with that, let me stop my share here and see if I can find Mr. Francis. And Don, help me. There he is. Keith, can you hear me okay?
I hear you, sir.
All right. I'm just going to sit back, and I might interrupt you, but just let people know your story. How did you end up here? What are you seeing here? How are you feeling from a mindset? Just whatever you feel like is important.
All right. First of all, thank you so much, Dale. I think it's important that I begin by saying that where I am today, mentally, with Collect Direct, mentally, entrepreneurially, as a person, is not where I was 3 weeks ago. I'm just being very, very upfront with you. I love what I saw with it. Well, let me back up just a sec. I actually missed it. You know, you talk about timing. I actually missed it the first time Jerry presented it to me because my mind was elsewhere. I'll leave it at that. But it was meant to be. Okay. You call me a 3%. I don't know if that's the right definition, because sometimes I don't like being compared to people who have earned their income the way that I would never earn mine, if that makes sense. But all 3%ers are not in that group. Okay.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. The you know, I have, by networking standards, I guess, I have done well. I've been able to take care of my family full-time as a full-time networker for 22 years now.
Wow.
Started part-time before that. I've been in and out the industry twice, to be quite frank with you, which I'll get into that in a minute. But when I first, when I saw it the second time, Jerry presented it to me, when I really saw Collect Direct and the potential at that time, because that's all it was initially. And I began to do my due diligence, watch the, I knew you were here, and that was important to me. When I saw the tour video and realized this is real, did a little research on Dave Jordan, his background, where he had been, what he had done, and realized that I realize it more and more every day that he is the right owner. Can't say that any clearer than that. He is the right owner to have this inventory. And when I did a little research on the Carsons, they are the right master distributors. Okay, so, and then you are the right team leader. So all those pieces came together. But even with that, and once again, I'm going to be 100% transparent, because I had built systems for my team going back 20 years. I knew early on in the industry, and I'll get to that in a minute, that most folks could not build websites. They didn't know where to go for leads or how to generate leads, how to approach their warm market. So I learned how to, and then I started providing free marketing systems for my team, going all the way back to 18 years now, 2005. Okay. And that's helped some of my team members earn an income, okay, and several opportunities. But it wasn't until I really, this past week, where, once again, being 100% transparent, I realized that part of what I should have been doing, and I knew better, but I had forgotten. I had been on this hamster wheel so long, I had forgotten one major component, and you just subtly reminded me of that, not only when I started listening to your training, but in our conversation the other day. So anyway, let me back up from the beginning and saw how all this happened.
Sure.
When I saw it, this was my intention. I'm going to be very frank with you. When I knew that I was going to move forward with Collect Direct, I knew that you were going to have some good training, but I was more focused on what you were going to be able to provide for my team that I built, in terms of lead generation, helping us get customers, helping us get distributors. Okay. Didn't give a second thought to the other training. I'm just being frank with you. Okay. My oldest son, my namesake, Keith Jr., he's 49 now. His own family, accomplished in his own way, comes from the banking industry as a branch manager and then in commercial banking. So it's got a good head on his shoulder, not because he's my son, but because he does. Extremely proud of him. And he's watched me my entire life, even in my traditional businesses. You're amazed when you don't think that your children are watching you, what they learn from you. I'm finding that out more and more these last couple of weeks. It's humbling. When my goal was, once again, being very frank, I was going to take some of your videos that you had done, create my own pages, and use my own pages to start generating interest in the opportunity. And I was going to obviously recommend the CMG Collect Direct team website, because I knew there was going to be a lot of value. But for myself, as you said, a 3%er, I really didn't think that there was going to be much value back there for me. Other than the training teach me how to generate leads, to help my team generate leads for the customers, like the eBay training and everything else.
Keith,
Yes.
I want to pick up right here, but let's go back, because I want to give people a little bit more background, corporate America.
I'm going there.
I want people to understand your experience,
Yeah.
because you deserved to think the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
But
Well,
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. If you don't want to do that now, that's fine. But I want to make darn sure that they understand we're not talking to somebody that's been piddling around here for a few years. You got experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I built teams in network marketing industry. Largest team was over 50,000 distributors. Okay. I've earned well in excess of over $1 million. I don't even like talking about that, because that, sometimes I feel guilty about that, because other people should have made more on my team, if that makes sense. Okay. My background is I worked in corporate America with AT&T and moved up into mid-level management. And that's where I really learned, okay, the importance of customers to any organization. And keep in mind, Dale, back then, this was prior to divestiture, where AT&T was a monopoly. We had no competition, but the importance of customer satisfaction was just drilled into us. In fact, and Keith will tell you this when you meet him one day, up until Hurricane Katrina, devastated our home. In my home office, and I got this from the phone company, and when I took an early retirement, I took it with me. I had a plaque that said, "The customer is always right." And I live by that, and I still live by that today, but that's what they drilled into me. Anyway, I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And in 1985, AT&T was offering early retirement packages. It was a generous package. I had started a part-time janitorial business about a year and a half prior to that, janitorial because it allowed me in the evenings, my free time, to start doing something else on my own. Eventually built that business up to where I knew it could take care of my family, but the fear of leaving the phone company, but anyway, I made the decision and I left. I built that janitorial company up to over $1 million. We eventually added a carpet furniture and drapery cleaning division. And while the income was great, and I knew from an income standpoint, it was the right decision for my family, the time, and we've got to remember, my children were young then. It just seemed like I saw them in passing, and I hated that. Okay. But everything that I had learned at the phone company in terms of how to treat customers, the importance of customers, I took that into my businesses. One thing that we were taught at the phone company, and I had one of the greatest mentors in my lifetime, he always told me to train my employees, and particularly my supervisors, as though I was training them to take over my job. And that's where the leadership was developed. I did that same thing with my janitorial and carpet and furniture drapery cleaning company, where I used to literally, at my expense, so it was kind of crazy, I would have all of my employees, including my customer service reps who answered the phone for incoming calls with customers, and particularly my technicians, I would have them go through a 2-week training course where we taught them everything about our business before we allowed a technician to go out into the field, before we allowed a customer service rep to pick up the phone to talk to a prospective customer. It was that important to me because I wanted them to buy in. As ironic as it is with my technicians, we trained them to view the business. We used to use these truck mounted units, that truck was their business. Okay. I trained them so well that 6 of my technicians ended up becoming my competition. They actually went out and started their own businesses. It's crazy, but it's true. And so anyway, that's the world that I come from. Back to what I was saying, because I was spending too much time away from my family, I knew that I had, and plus my competition was steep now because I trained them. I figured I needed to see if there was another way that I could earn a good income, or the income that I was used to, outside of this. And I started researching, came across direct mail marketing. You and I talked about that. Figured that out. It was doing well with that. And that's when I got the networking bug. Now I was familiar with Amway, of course, and the other companies I had been approached. But to be quite frank with you, the way that I was approached, which unfortunately is still the way that most people approach Walmart today, I was pitched. And even with Amway, they never told me where I was going, what meeting I was going to, and then they did all the little circles and yada, yada. I had ruled network marketing or multi-level marketing completely off the grid for me, because there was nowhere in the world, that just wasn't me. You know, I couldn't see myself building a business doing that. And unfortunately, what, 40 years later, 35 years later, you know, that's still the industry today, whether it's online or offline. Anyway, I ended up going full time. I believe it or not, my first leap out of the box was a network marketing company that I built by direct mail, because I learned how to find where real buyers were, as opposed to tire kickers and opportunity seekers. We did great. I taught my team how to duplicate what I was doing. Ended up, and it sounds crazy, remember that was back in 1989, I ended up making $80,000 in 6 months. $80,000 in 1989 in 6 months was crazy money. So needless to say, I was hooked. Okay. But I was working in that box because what we were selling was a mail order course and a self-improvement course. And I knew that there was only going to be a limited audience that wanted that. So I said, in order for me to get out to mainstream America, well, nutrition makes sense, you know, health and wellness makes sense. So I joined a company, you may remember them, called Nutrition for Life, pretty stable company.
Yeah.
And worked with them. But I realized, first thing I realized before that even happened, was that most of the people who were pitching me on their deals, because I was getting a bunch of direct mail, postcards, and letters, most of these people weren't making money. And that blew my mind. And so when I started making money, I would just simply tell them, if you want me to look at your opportunity, show me that it's working for you, and then I'll listen to you. If you can't show me it's working for you, why should I listen to you? And don't show me that it's working for 5 other people. Yeah, I want to see, is it working for you? Or show me how you're being trained so that I know that if even if you don't do anything, that I know that it'll work for me. That just wasn't happening. It wasn't there. Okay. When I went to Nutrition for Life, unfortunately, the product changed and we were supposed to get out the market, but it was the same thing. All of the customers, and when I realized that 95% of the customers were the distributors, nobody was going out there into the real world. And that was back in 1991, 92, 93. Anyway, by 1995, I had enough of it. Okay. And I decided, I had eventually, 1995. I had gotten out of the carpet furniture, drapery cleaning, and janitorial business because I was making a good income. But I wasn't going to keep doing what I was doing in network marketing. I just said, if this is what I've got to do the rest of my life, it's not for me. So I bought a janitorial franchise, okay, with a nationwide company, figuring what I learned from my early days in carpet furniture. But when you've got a national name behind you, it's going to open doors for you that you couldn't open on your own. Okay? And that's exactly what happened. We ended up servicing large universities, large franchises around the country. Okay. Because I was on all of those mailing lists, I was still getting direct mail. And you got to remember, back then, there was very little internet, let alone home computers. So everything was primarily the old school way. I said that the internet killed so much of the good things about network marketing. You used to have to get on the phone. You used to have to go belly to belly, face to face with somebody. Some people were taught how to do it. Others weren't, unfortunately, the correct way to do it. And everything was direct mail. Okay, fax machine, you remember the fax blast, the whole 9 yards, craziness, but it worked. Okay. One day, I got a postcard in the mail, and it was this little yellow postcard. I'll never forget it. And it was in 1997, I believe. And the reason why I'm saying 1997, because we had moved into our new home, and then we ended up buying another home like a year later, moving to that one. So it was in that time period. Remember, I was no longer in the industry. Okay. But this little postcard got my attention. They had a little black cassette tape on it. And on the other side, there was a picture of a gentleman with a hole in his head. And there was a number on it. And I called the number. And back then, of course, we were using voicemail recordings. I listened to the voicemail. And even though I knew I wasn't going to build a business, I was just curious, to see what this was, because this is the first time I had seen anything like this. And I left a message, and a gentleman called me back. Very, very professional, nice guy. And we talked a few minutes, and then I told him that that I really wasn't interested. I was more curious than anything. But he told me, he said he was from Louisiana. He wasn't in New Orleans. That's obviously where I'm originally from. But he said that he was going to be in the New Orleans area to meet with some other people later on in the week. He said he'd mail me out the cassette, watch the cassette. Let's watch it. Video. We didn't even have video back then. It was old VHS. Okay. He said, listen to the cassette. And he said, if I had any questions about anything when he came, he'd be more than happy to address it. So I agree, because the guy was just the way he handled himself. He wasn't one of these pushy kind of folks. He was like one of my coworkers at the phone company, one of my buddies. That's just the way he came across to me. Anyway, Friday came, the cassette came first. I listened to it. The most profound message I had ever heard at that point in time. The gentleman on that cassette, he talked about the network marketing industry, what was wrong with it, how it had just been ruined. And remember, we're going back to 1997. Gotten worse since then. How it had been ruined because no one was getting customers, quote unquote leaders. They weren't teaching their teams to get customers. And then he talked about his personal experiences with NSA. And of course, I knew who NSA was. And while NSA, all of their leaders organizations were shrinking, there was one group that was continuing to grow. All of the leaders, the groups are shrinking, but one leaders group was continuing to grow. And that leaders group was continuing to grow because he was teaching retail to recruit, customer acquisition. And obviously if people don't know now, that leader was you. So folks, when this guy is telling you what he's telling you, he's doing more than backing it up. He's been living it for almost the last 40 years. Anyway, I never forgot that, okay? Fast forward to right now. When Dale came out with oh, by the way, the gentleman, when he came to my house that Friday, I had no intentions on joining the company, which I didn't join because I knew I simply didn't have time, not only for myself, but for a team, okay? But the gentleman, he was so professional, not a fast talker, just honest, down to earth. Like I told you, just like if he was one of my buddies from the phone company, we'd just sit down talking. He knew his product. He understood his business, and it's just the way he handled himself. And I never forgot that. I mean, it's been that long ago, but those kind of things have an impression on you. Anyway, fast forward now to about a week and a half ago. Dale came out with his box video. I didn't even remember what he called it. As I watched that video, all of a sudden, the same things that I heard in 1997, I'm hearing again. And I told my son, I called him and I told him, I said, you need to listen to this. You need to watch this tonight. I said, well, don't watch it. I said, no, never mind. Don't watch it tonight because you won't sleep. Well, he watched it. He told me he ended up watching it 3 times. The video had such a profound impact on him and on me. I started racking my brains because I remember what it immediately reminded me of that cassette tape, but I couldn't remember how the two came together. And that's how I ended up tying it with your 1997 cassette. My son then told me, after he had watched the video 3 times, and you got to remember, at this point, I'm still the guy who I'm going to recommend your training to my team, but I'm not going to take all the training myself. I don't need to do the 20 whys. I know my why. I don't need all the other how to launch your business. I don't need that. And that's not being rude or arrogant. I'm being honest with you. That's the way I felt. My son told me a few days later, he said, oh, by the way, Pops, he said, I'm going to get those, my 20 whys to you. And first I forgot when he was even talking about it. I said, and I remembered, I said, okay. When I saw him, my son sent me his whys. And when I saw his whys, remember, that's my son. I know him. I never saw him open. He's never opened up to me like that, let alone to a complete stranger, because he had to send him to you too. That humbled me. But it also motivated me. I said, wait a minute. I said, my son is sending in his 20 questions, and I'm sitting over here and I haven't done them. So I put it on my to-do list. Okay, well, I'm going to do it too. I need to do this. In fact, if I'm going to expect my team members, those who are serious, to do this, okay, then don't be a hypocrite, Keith. Do it yourself too. Be a leader. When I started doing my 20 questions, if you're honest with yourself, if you're really honest with yourself, you're going to get humbled. But here's what came out the back end for me. I can't say this is going to happen for everybody. You're also going to have a new focus on what you're doing here, on what you need to be doing here. And then it was after I submitted those 20 questions that I heard from you. You know, it's not my style. I don't bug upline and I don't bug owners, but you reached out to me to schedule a call for us to meet. And when I ended up talking to you and we talked more about the story, and I told you my frustrations with the industry. You know, that's when you asked me, and you called me back later and you asked me, you know, if I wouldn't mind sharing my story. You know, here's the other side, Dale, and now you can think I don't kiss butt. I just tell the truth, okay? Because I thought about this a lot since then. You know, you talk about a lot, and of course you can back it up about, you know, the hundreds of people that you've helped earn six-figure income, five-figure income, and become millionaires in this industry. And of course, you've got the documentation for it. What I want folks to realize, those who are going to take this business seriously, is that you did that. Well, you're doing it again now with another opportunity, but you did that years ago, okay? And probably the most competitive industry for network marketing, weight loss. And I want folks to understand that, you see, because I'm focusing on that now. If you could do that, if you could build leaders, help leaders then build more leaders, teach them customer acquisition the right way. If you could do that in one of the most competitive industry for networkers anywhere, okay, what in the world is going to happen here in an industry, in a market where we have no competition in network marketing? And folks need to really let that sink in. If people just zero in on what you're able to teach us in a market where we don't have any competition, and you did what you did in a market where competition is all over the place. See, I've been in that position before where I was with a product, quote unquote, a category creator when it first happened, when there was no market, no competition outside of the box. In other words, in mainstream America, I was with it with the acai juice. I was with it with CBD. And to be quite frank with you, we did extremely well for the first couple of years. But all of a sudden, when they became popular in mainstream America, and when customers were able to now go to Walmart and get acai juice for $12 a bottle instead of the 40 that I was selling it for, didn't matter how good I thought my acai juice was. The customer saw $12 acai juice. Same thing with CBD. I mean, you name it, it's happened time and time again. Okay, that can't happen this time. You see, and that's what's been going through my head.
Please say that one more time. I mean, hit that point home, because people have got to hear that. Because we watched it, Keith. Network marketers bring cutting edge nutrition products to the market, chromium picolinate, ephedrine, whatever you want to call it. And then once the market is developed, then the big box stores, Walmart, everybody starts knocking network marketers off. That cannot happen here.
No. Let's take it a step further, Dale. And my son and I had this discussion. We were talking about, well, you know, what if there's another Dave Jordan out there? Well, it's not just Dave Jordan. You not only what if there were somebody out there that had an estimated $2.5 billion inventory of collectibles going back 40 years. Number one, they would have to be debt free. Okay. Number two, they would have to have his heart. To be quite frank with you, it's rare for somebody to have that kind of network and to have that kind of heart. Okay. You would then have to have the right people in place who understood business, but who also understood networking, like the Carsons, to help you with the day-to-day. You would also then have to have a trainer and a leader like a Dale Calvert to teach you the right way to do it. So it's virtually impossible. I'm not saying that nothing's impossible, but it's virtually impossible to duplicate what we have, because even if you had the $2.5 billion inventory, in order for you to pay decent commissions to attract people, okay, and then still have your products or your collectibles at market value, you know, where you're not trying to sell a $40 bottle of juice and everybody else is selling it for $12 in mainstream America. Do you know how difficult that is to duplicate? And then you're here at the very beginning of it. See, well, anyway, look, I know where I am now. I know who I'm with. Okay. Honestly, one of the most frustrating things for me now, because I get it, I finally get it, is when I see friends of mine who still don't get it. But I've got to look past that and understand that, just like the timing, when Jerry brought it to me the first time, I heard him, but I didn't hear him. You know, I've just got to trust that at some point in time, they will hear me.
Why didn't you hear him? Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah.
You drank the Kool-Aid, hadn't you?
I'm sorry. Yeah. 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 Honestly, I called him up and Jerry and I go back 15 years. Believe it or not, we've never worked together on a meaningful project in 15 years, but we've become good friends. I love him like a younger brother.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's just the way it is. First time that he brought it to me, my mind was elsewhere, you know, and honestly, I didn't even remember him bringing it to me. I'm just telling you the truth. When I saw it, the next time he brought it to me, I joked to him and I said, Dale started doing this in May, you know, and you didn't get my attention. You know, why did you not do that? You know, he said, well, you know, you brushed me off the first time. I thought you weren't interested. So that's that timing thing. Okay. When the timing is going to be different for everybody. You know, I wish I could make some of my friends, my networking friends who are really good people, who have been in this industry for some of them as long as I have, you know, who have come with me, who have trusted me. I wish I could get them to see this right now, but I can't make them see it. All I can do is present it to them. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anyway, I mean, that's me. That's where we are today. You know, my goal, and I think I shared this with you, and I know I could do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it with all networkers. I may have to go outside the networking market, which, to be quite frank with you, I intend on doing that anyway. Right. But my goal in the next 18 months is to develop 20 true leaders. And what I mean by true leaders is that leaders, like I did when I worked for the phone company, you know, where I developed supervisors to take my position. The same thing I did with my company, where I train employees to become my competition. I want to develop 20 leaders who can now go out and run their own business.
Awesome. Awesome. Why do you think, Keith, that you never approached network marketing that way?
Which way?
Were you with the mind? Because you said, I've always helped people create income on the phone, but you said, I never really thought about replacing myself or creating leaders. Well, how did you?
I was more focused on trying to help people make money than developing people. Does that make sense? That was my first goal, trying to help them make money, but totally missing, even though it's a part of who I am, totally missing the importance of developing people to become leaders, where they can go out there and help their folks make money instead of just plugging them into Keith's system. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm gonna let people, if they have questions they want to ask you, because I want to make sure we get on the corporate call soon. But I want to make sure that people have questions, because I know there's some people that really needed to hear what you just said. I know it, and the fact that and are you going to get what, you know, as far as our franchise that we have, are you going to get? Will you get 70% plugged into it?
70% of the people.
No, 70%. Will you plug into what we're doing? Will you plug in halfway, 70%?
Oh, no, 100%.
Okay.
100%. No, 100%.
I just wanted to.
One quick thing before I go. No, I know. One quick thing before I leave you, Dale. For those
Okay.
folks, if you don't do anything else, okay, plug into the Zooms and plug into the 2 Facebook groups to keep yourself connected. Because if you're not connected, it ain't gonna happen for you anyway. Once again, I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's the first thing. Number 2, do the 20 questions. Even if you like me, if you're an arrogant prick like I am, and you think that you don't need it, I dare you, try it. If you're serious, get humbled. Number 3, start going through Dale's training, the launching your business. And if you don't watch all the videos, if you don't have the time, watch the video where it's almost a 2-hour video. Make sure you have the time to do it. Where Dale talks about, it's on the launch your business, where Dale talks about how to enroll team members. If you think you know network marketing, that's the video where Dale humbled me and opened my eyes. It made me remember what it was to build a real business in that video there. So.
Jordan or Dave Johnston.
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Hi, sir.
Mr. Keith. I'm almost speechless. I really am. I said when you inspired Dale, he told us that you inspired him. And I immediately said, I want to see this guy because Dale inspires me. He's a true mentor. And he has developed a training for leaders. And Dale knows that this is kind of a big statement for me. I'm pretty much speechless. I don't even know what to say. It had me, my dreams woke up again. My dreams woke up and I really, really want this. I want to be able, Dale tells us all the time, the real product is people. Develop those people. And again, everything, I'm going to watch this one over and over and over to be able to be in tutelage under Dale Calvert, and now somebody like you, Keith Francis. I know a sliver of your story. I want to be on that stage with you guys. Dale's dream is to have 10,000 at Rupp Arena, 500 6-figure earners, and 10 millionaires. And I got it right here on my wall. I'm going to be one of those millionaires on that stage. And I'm not letting go of this until I do. This is completely different than anything that I've ever seen as far as network. I was in Amway in San Diego back with Worldwide Dream Builders. And let me tell you, and I kind of I sold a bunch of soap, but I never got this type of training. Believe me, I'm immersed in this. I'm 100% in. I'm all in. And I am so grateful to you for coming on here and sharing your story and giving us that. It has truly been an inspiration, and that comes from my heart. So that's all I got to say.
Dave, it's here. Dale, just 1 second, and I promise I'm gonna give it right back. Please don't misunderstand me. It hadn't, even though I made a lot of money in this industry, I swear, it hadn't always been easy. But my son asked me this the other day, and I'll answer it again now. He said, because my son knows what I've been through in the industry. He knows the good times and the bad times. He said, to be where you are today with Collect Direct at this time, with Dale, with Dave Jordan, with the Carsons, with Jerry, to be here today and to know what you had to go through to get here, would you go through everything that you've been through for the last 30 years to do it? I said, if I had a choice, okay, the answer is no, nobody would, okay? But if that was the prerequisite, that I had to go through all of that to get here, yeah, I'll do it again. So.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Jeff Turner.
Hello. Nice meeting you, nice meeting you. And I love your story. My question is, when you talked about the industries, you said you've been in like 3 category creator industries, and then you've seen how Dave had collected for over 40 years, and you've seen Dale was a part of it with the training, and you also seen how Don was a part of it with the operations.
Mhm.
What, just explain the significance of that, so that people would really see the opportunity and really do what they have to do. Because like I have a small base business,
Mhm.
and I've been doing it. I've been trained, Dale's been mentoring me for the last 30 years. And the things that I've been able to accomplish has been because of a lot of the self-development that I've learned in the past.
Mhm.
But one of the things I have a problem with is organizing myself
Mhm.
to do the activities, because a lot of times I'm all over the place.
Let me make it easy for you, Jeff. Let's assume that Dave Jordan and his 40-year collection is here. That's one of the pieces. Let's assume that the courses are here. That's another piece. So you got 2 to 3. So let's focus on Dale and what Dale does. Okay. If someone doesn't use or follows Dale's training, Dale's proven training on how to build a network marketing business, and even though this is a unique product line, and they instead do the typical network marketing stuff, the 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, I'm just going to get my auto ship every month. They're going to get their auto ship every month. Don't get me wrong. Chances are, because our product line is unique and exclusive, you may make a little money, but you will never make the kind of income that you can make, okay, following Dale's system. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I sit on a call, I don't know, in the last month or so, that there'll be a lot of people here that'll make $100,000 a year that should have made $1 million
Mm-hmm.
because of what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Knight, then Rhonda.
Mr. Francis, nice to meet you.
Same here, Alan.
Yeah, that was profound. And we hear a lot of good talks. I mean, all the time from leaders on the team. And I've never heard somebody who spent so little time with Dale sound so much like Dale so quickly, which is, that says something. That's a compliment, in case you're wondering. And so I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. It's going to make a huge difference to
I
a
hope it
whole lot
does.
of people that people like me didn't have. They wouldn't have maybe given me the time of day right now. But because of your background and what you brought to this, there's people who will listen who wouldn't have listened. And so I really respect that. I'm excited to have you be a
Good.
part of the team. I'm excited to hear what you do as we see you in the leadership here, which obviously you will be shortly. So it's very cool, and I'm very excited. And so thank you for doing that. It's your transparency is really what's the most attractive part about what you've said. It's just that you're just being real, and we love that here. We eat that up, and we're not into the showy, we're into the being real. And so we really appreciate you. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I told my son after I spoke with Dale, by the time that I got off the call, and you got to remember, that's the very first time I ever spoke with Dale. It felt like I had actually admitted, not that I had developed a new networking connection. It actually felt like I had made a friend that I know that as time goes on, working with him, we're going to be able to help a lot of people who are ready to be helped. We're going to be able to help a lot of people. I really believe that with this company here, the people who don't just say you want to be helped, do the things that'll help you.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And that's going to happen. I'm
Write
sorry,
that one
Dale.
down.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Write that one. Don't just say you want to be helped. Do the things that will help you. That's good stuff right there. Rhonda Peterson.
Hi, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that I have been with Keith since about 1998. And when I first met him, he was not my sponsor. I think I was sidelined to him, but he reaches down and he helps everybody. And so from the time I've met him, I've probably now been with several companies. Once he sends me information, I don't really hesitate. I may not have time to look at it, but I fill out what I need to fill out because I know that he's done his due diligence and it's going to be okay.
Dale, Rhonda is one of these people, and trust me, she has the ability to become a millionaire here. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. No doubt in my mind. The intelligence, the motivation, and the drive. You know, once she gets the vision, like me, it took me a couple of weeks to really get the vision.
Right.
After that, it's over.
Awesome. Keith, how many more companies do you think you'll be with?
No. God willing, this is it. I'm serious, man. This is it. This is what I leave my family here.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
we can't predict the future, but if Collect Direct does their part, okay,
Yeah.
I will control the part that I can control. And
Yes,
I'm going to do, I'm going to put that piece in here that I have not put in the other companies because of you and what you drilled home. I'm going to develop leaders, because when I develop leaders, leaders create long-term volume. Promoters create excitement and short-term volume. And that's obvious.
Right. That's right. Mr. Clark, Michael Clark.
All right, howdy, who dat? I love it. I love it. And I feel like our team is like the Pacific Fleet. We just got another aircraft carrier, a nuclear one, and I am eat up with you.
I want to help. I really do. I want to help.
Well, we've got
anybody on Dale's team. I want to help.
We've got a world-class leader in Dale, but team builders. I just am totally absorbed with what you said. I just got to ask this one question because I don't know, who is Jerry?
Jerry Zink.
You'll meet him.
Jerry.
He's, and here's the best way I can describe him. I literally thought he was Gordy's twin brother.
Okay.
It's so wild. You go, if I pull up my phone, the first one, A, is Alderson. The last one is Zink, Jerry. And they've never met each other, but they will. But yeah, Jerry's a very, very unique individual. It's like I've met him one time, but we've connected, been on the phone many times over the years. Yeah, he's going to be a major. He's going to be a major player here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dale, Jerry here.
Hey, Jerry.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
I just want to put in one, quick plug for Keith is, Keith has become one of my best friends in this industry and outside this industry. And, I don't know that I met anybody with a better or bigger heart than Keith. And that's just the truth. So for those of you that get a chance to get to know him, there's an attitude of gratitude from that guy. So you're going to enjoy it.
Awesome.
Well,
Thanks, Jerry.
Dale, I know we have to go. I'll leave people with the last thing. Listen to this man. I'm telling you, please listen to this man. Even if you don't know anything right now, if you believe that you have what it takes, he's got the roadmap. I'm telling you, he's got the roadmap. You can do it his way, or you can do it the way a lot of other folks are going to do it. Two who get two, get two, get two. Get lucky, make a few $100, few $1,000. You'll be on to your next deal next year. Build it this way. Remember, no competition. Build it his way. You will stay here. I'm praying for that. I'm praying for that for myself, and I'm hoping for that for the people who take him seriously.
We'll end with that, guys. We need to jump on the corporate call. Sorry, I couldn't get to everybody. Keith, thank you, my man. I so appreciate it. You did. You knocked it out of the park. I knew authenticity. I knew how you would come across and how people would accept this and be excited about what you shared. So can't wait to shake your hand real soon. Thank you, guys. Thank you, all of you. Let's jump on the corporate call. And we'll see y'all next week. Next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. See you then.
Thanks,
Hey,
Dale.
for those of you who are curious, David Cook was the one that he met with in New Orleans. I see Tony Shoup up there shaking, smiling.
Didn't know his name.
We do. David Cook was the guy. Y'all have a good one. See ya.
See you in the corporate.
Yep. Jump in corporate.